Welcome everybody. I thought it would be easiest to take a little video because lecturing on Zoom can be boring and such. And I just wanted to give you an introduction to the book that we're going to be reading. Um, I have a little introductory letter that says some of what we're going to be reading, and I also want us to be thinking about the global issues and connections we can make with this book and the books that you read in Mr. Romero's class, specifically the works in translation. I'm looking down here, I see culture, identity, and community is a global connection, beliefs, values, and education, politics, power, and justice, art, creativity, and imagination, and then science, technology, and the natural world. Well, hopefully, this book will be rich enough so that there'll be a lot of connections you can make with, I don't know, global issues and the other books that you've read. In my personal opinion, we might be reading one of the best. If it was this time last year, I would have said the best living author, but she passed last August. Kind of broke my heart. Um, Fascinating woman, Toni Morrison. She got into writing really late. She had a very good job. She was a publisher for Random House, and she was one of the final eyes to see a book before it was approved or it was not approved. So if it went forward to publication, so she had a lot of power in this industry, but she was having a hard time because she wasn't seeing books come across her desk that represented her childhood. Um, so she ended up writing a shorter book called The Blue Sky. So if you have read it, you probably read it in my class in ninth grade. Probably wasn't appropriate for ninth grader because it was brutal. It had well, it had a lot going on, and so maybe if you did read it though, if the content was too severe, at least the beauty of the writing I hope came through. Um, Her voice, her style, is such that it ended up she ended up winning in her lifetime the Nobel Prize for literature. First African American woman to do that, and only, in fact, I think. This novel, winner of the Pulitzer the year it came out, it is her fourth. It was a novel right before maybe her most famous, which is Beloved, which I think could be the most important novel of the 20th century. We're not reading that one because that one's pretty painful as well. So, one of the things about her as an author is she gives us characters who do unforgivable things, and I think that she's compassionate enough that she finds ways to make us forgive. I've included in the canvas the story, the folktale, The People Who Could Fly. You'll read it. It's a quick read. You've probably heard something like it. It's a folktale, and one of the things that early 1900s people started doing, they started interviewing former slaves, and because they wanted to get the primary source. You witnessed it, and there are not going to be as many people alive who experienced slavery, so they wanted to get their stories down. And one of the things that was always asked if they knew about the people who could fly. Now, obviously, we're thinking people can't fly in real life, but to a T, every single person interviewed said no, they hadn't seen that phenomenon, but they knew about it, they heard about it, or it happened a plantation over, or a friend of a friend saw it. There was all this truth about a group of people from Africa who one day up and flew back home. That's going to be a really big um, that's an important story in our novel because flight is going to be one of the main motifs that we're going to explore. In fact, the dedication is to Daddy, and the epigraph is "The fathers may soar, SOAR, and the children may know their names." So flight is a difficult motif because there's flying to and there's flying from. There's flight as escape, or there's flight as running away. So um, we're gonna have a hard time figuring out what exactly what to make of that motif as we go through. It's titled the Song of Solomon, so song perhaps could be in here. But the Song of Solomon is actually a book in the Bible. It's also known as Song of Songs. And I kid you not, it is the sexiest verses in the Bible. Downright sensual. I printed out a couple. Let's take a look at Solomon to his new bride. How beautiful are your sandaled feet, princesses. The curves of your thighs are like jewelry, the handiwork of a master. Your navel is a rounded bowl, it never lacks mixed wine. Your waist is a mount of wheat surrounded by lilies. Your breasts are like two fawns, twins of a gazelle. Um, he goes into her thighs, her navel, her waist, her breasts. He's just getting started. Your neck is like a tower of ivory. Your eyes like the pools in Heshbon by the gate of Bath Rabbin. Your nose is like the Tower of Lebanon looking towards Damascus. Um, and eventually he says, I will climb the palm tree and hold the fruit. May your breasts be like clusters of grapes and the fragrance of your breath like she's going to respond with, I belong to my love and his desire is for me. And they're going to go to the field and make love. Come, my love, let's go to the field. Let's spend the night among the henna blossoms. Let's go early to the vineyards and see if the vine has budded, if the blossom has opened, if the pomegranates are in bloom. There I will give you my love. The mandrakes give off a fragrance, and at our doors is every delicacy, new as well as old. I have treasured them up for you, my love. So, I mean, obviously, when you have a title that is also the title of a biblical book, I mean, you should know she's alluding to something. Um, whether it is about this passionate romance, I do not know. I do, I think, but it's for you guys to find out. The main reason for this video is I want you to know this traditionally is a very popular book, but it is a difficult beginning. Um, I don't think many of the characters, except for the first character we're going to mention, are named. They're going to be like the cat-eyed boy or the singing woman or something like that. And there's going to be a lot happening in the very beginning, and it's all going to make sense eventually, but it may not make sense right away. So trust the author and trust me as you move forward. I want to read a couple sentences and then I'll let you guys go. The North Carolina Mutual Life Insurance agent promised to fly from Mercy to the other side of Lake Superior at 3 o'clock. 2 days before the event was to take place, he tacked a note on the door of his little yellow house. At 3 p.m. on Wednesday, the 18th of February, 1931, I will take off from Mercy and fly away on my own wings. Please forgive me. I loved you all. Signed, Robert Smith, insurance agent. Okay, I think we can get a lot just from that. First of all, we get setting, and setting is very important. Don't get fooled by North Carolina Mutual Life Insurance Agent. That's North Carolina is a company name. It's probably no, it takes place in Michigan because it's a reference to I'm going to fly to the other side of Lake Superior. It gives us setting in 1931 is when the novel opens, which is an interesting time in America. Maybe we're thinking about Great Depression. Maybe we're thinking about how African Americans were treated pre-civil rights. We could talk post-civil rights as well. Um, we could talk about the obvious. This is a suicide note. You don't have to agree with me on that, but please forgive me as a sentence. I loved you all. Past tense. Um, do we think that he is going to actually jump off? And Mercy is the hospital. Do we think he's going to jump off Mercy on his and fly away on his own wings? Do we think that's possible? I know anything can happen in a book, but it doesn't sound like he thinks it's possible. Maybe the most generic name we could come up with, Robert Smith. Sorry if there's any Smiths in the past. I guess we could have said John Smith. And we have somebody committing suicide at 3 o'clock on a Wednesday in winter in Michigan. Who's there to witness the event, right? Where are you going to be at 3 o'clock on a Wednesday in winter in the northern part of America. You're going to be indoors. You're going to be at work. Um, yeah, who kills themselves at 3 o'clock in the middle of the day, or why a Wednesday in the middle of the week? Um, what are the consequences of opening a novel with a death? You know, are we invested in this character at all? Are we not going to care? Does it begin in death because of a particular? Obviously, it is because of a reason. And how does that? How do we move forward? Books that open up this way. What do you suggest are going to happen in the future? So have fun with Song of Solomon. Get this first chapter read, and we're gonna do a lot with the first chapter. And I hope you have a great time reading the book. Take care. She out.